Hey Facebook! Happy first day of April. I'm here in Tucson and it is a gorgeous hot day in the 80s. Hard to believe that it's April 1st. Grab some water if you're going to be doing this yoga flow with us. At least in Tucson, it's pretty dry these days. So it's good to stay hydrated. Even if you're somewhere humid, have some water nearby for this class. If you're watching this as a replay, definitely go ahead, fast forward a bit so you can start when we actually start, since I'll be talking for about the next minute to give people a chance to get on this live class. If you're already here, if you're watching this, definitely give me a comment, say, hey, what's up? I love to know who's out there, Facebook, who's watching, what's going on. And when the class is over, definitely know what you liked, what you didn't, what was challenging, what felt good. I'm using a Tada rug back there. It's a giant yoga mat. They're awesome. They're actually on sale right now for the next couple of days. So if you're curious about them, just comment below and I can give you all the details and the pros and cons of having one. Today's going to be just kind of like an all-around flow class. Modify whatever you need to, step up whatever you need to. This is always your practice. Yeah, we've got just a little bit more time before we're going to get started. So how is everyone out there? What'd you do today? How's life? How's a home yoga practice going? Oh, and if you're watching this class, definitely put on some music so that you can have some background beats going to get your yoga flow on. All right, that was a really long intro. Let's get started. Let's do some yoga. Here we go. Come onto your mat. We're going to start seated today with the soles of the feet together and with the knees pointing out to the sides. Choose if you want your feet close to your hips or further away. That'll change the stretch to be more in your legs versus more in your back. Then bring your arms in front of you, either into your lap or stretch them further in front and add a little forward fold. Whichever you're choosing, direct your attention to your breath and allow your inhales to really fill up your lower back side to side. Start to activate your legs so you're pushing the soles of your feet together. Feel your knees move outward and down. Draw shoulders away from ears. Reach your heart forward. We're going to take 5 breaths together. Inhale through your nose. Hold for a moment. Open your mouth, sigh it out. Through your nose, breathe in. Hold for a moment. Breathe out. We've got 3 more breaths. This time we're going to count them. Inhale for a count of 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale for 4. Hold, this time for 7, 6. Exhale for 8. Keep exhaling. Inhale for 4. Hold for 5. Exhale for 8. Keep exhaling. Take a normal breath in and out. Look forward if you're grounded. Lift your chest and slowly rise all the way up. Grab your ankles or your shins. Take a few butterflies with your legs. Pushing the soles of your feet together strongly into the ground. Release the legs down. Reach the hands high to the sky. Imagine you're holding a big ball. You're going to bend towards the right. Take a circle forward. Bend towards the left. And repeat this, going around only so far that you can keep your sits bones on the ground the whole time. Knees keep pressing outward. Inner edges of your feet keep pushing together. Really use the muscles on the sides of your core to help you bend over. Okay, return back to center, switch direction. Softening your shoulders. Deepening your breath. And take one more. Bring your hands to your mat behind you, fingertips down, and inhale, lift your chest. Exhale, round. Inhale, lift. Exhale, round. Feet pressing together. Letting your breath start to synchronize now. Return to seated. Bring your hands to your knees. Bring them in front of you and walk them to your right. So you're twisting over your right knee. Stay there or forward fold, walking your hands a little bit further away from you and really pushing your hands down into the ground and away from you. Belly is turning towards the right. Walk your hands forward into the left. Leaning slightly towards the right, really press your right hip down. Turning your belly towards the left, dropping shoulders, take an inhale and exhale. Walk your hands back through center and slowly rise all the way up to seated. Uncross your legs, come into tabletop position, hands and knees. Spread your fingers super wide, thumbs and pinky fingers press down. Take some cats and cows. Inhale, lifting heart and tailbone. Exhale, rounding. Inhale, keep moving. Feel free to make this your own. Head rolls, hip rolls, whatever your body needs. Actively pushing your palms down, your fingers down, actively pushing the tops of your feet down. Return to a neutral tabletop. Take your right shin and cross it over your left calf, right in the middle of the calf. Walk back and sit on to that right ankle. You should feel a big sensation in your left calf. Might not necessarily feel great, but it should feel like it's doing something. This is adequately named the calf smash. It's one of the yoga poses and I'm like, okay, I can get behind that name. Intense stretch to the west. I don't know. That one's a hard one for me. All right, shift forward, come back into tabletop. Same thing other side. Left shin goes across the right in the middle of that right calf, and then sit back and smash it out lovingly. Notice if you're carrying tension in the jaw or the shoulders. And if you need less intensity, just walk your hands further away from you, bringing a bit more weight into your palms. Always good to open up the calves a bit before we get into downward dog. Okay, shift back to tabletop pose. Stretch your left leg way back behind you, flex the foot, press through the back knee, and then kick your heel back. So a little bit of a calf stretch. We'll do this a few times. Shift forward and back, forward and back. Go ahead, take one more. Fingertips pressing down. Return to table, switch sides. Right leg goes back, foot flexed. Drop the right heel way back behind you, heart reaching forward. Move forward and back a few times. Think of your wrists squeezing away from one another as you do this. Okay, come back to tabletop pose. Sit back onto your heels. Go ahead, take a few shoulder rolls. Interlace your hands together down to the webbing. Flip your palms up towards the sky as you drop your shoulders down towards your hips. Draw your ribs in. Think of lengthening the back side of your body from tailbone up the crown of your head. Lift the roof of your mouth. Get heavy in your tailbone and lift the thumb side of your hands a little bit higher. Spread your fingers wide. If you've been texting a lot or typing a lot or using your phone or computer more than usual, this is really good for your hands. And I don't know about you, but I've definitely been using my digital things more than usual. Okay, release your hands down and take a few wrist circles. Either direction, just get some mobility happening in the wrists. These might seem like really simple movements, but they're so good for the joints. So good for making sure we don't get things like carpal tunnel. That's what voice memos are for, instead of texting. Okay, come back into tabletop position. Tuck your toes, finally downward facing dog. Heart forward, press strong through your fingers, pedal out your feet. Here comes the train. Lift up both toes, drop your heels to the right, spinning your hips towards the right. Feel a nice stretch in your left side, bending your right knee as much as you need to. Now return back to center and go up and over to the left, pushing strong through your right palm, bending your left knee a little or a lot. Return back to downward facing dog. Look forward, walk or hop your feet to your hands. Bend your knees, put your ribs on your thighs, clasp opposite elbows. 5 breaths here. If it feels nice for your body, rock forward and back from heels to toe. 3 more breaths. And then center your feet somewhere where there's equal weight between heel and ball of the foot. Release your elbows, interlace your hands behind your lower back. Stretch your knuckles up and over. You could always choose to stay with the elbows if your shoulders don't love this. Head is hanging heavy like an apple bobbing from a tree. With the arms stretched up and over, inhale to your upper chest. Try and stretch it open. 1 more. Release the hands down to the ground. Plant them, lift your chest, and then bend and straighten one leg at a time. Really pressing the heels down into the ground, keeping the back of your neck long. Good. Bend your knees, step back to tabletop. So in table, the knees are right underneath your hips. We're going to change that now. Keep your shoulders over your wrists, but walk your knees back. So you're in a plank pose with your knees down. And you can hold just like this. You can lift your knees up, or you can add in some push-ups, your choice. If you're doing push-ups, we're going to take 4. 3, 2, and 1. Good. Push back to downward dog. Step your right foot forward between your thumbs. Drop your back knee. Lift up. Hands to floor, hands to front knee or biceps by ears. Activate through your legs. Lift through your torso. Soften through shoulders. Hands come through the heart. Plant down and shift back to half splits. Front leg presses towards straight. Use your right hand to really draw that right hip back and down. And then kick through the inner arch, the inner thigh, the inner foot. Nice. Shift forward, low lunge. Hands go up or stay down. Exhale, half splits. Heart reaching forward. 1 more like that. Inhale, shift forward. Exhale, half splits. Good. Heart really reaching up, shoulders reaching back. Stay for 1 more breath in these half splits. And step forward onto your right foot. Big step into standing splits. Fingers are going to stay on the ground. That leg you're standing on can totally be bent. The back leg, point the toes and the knees straight down. Use your butt cheek and the back of the leg to lift through the leg and the ankle. Step back, low lunge. Inhale. Exhale, standing splits. Inhale, low lunge. Exhale, standing splits. One more. Hello, right hip. Last time, really push into that heel to lift you up. Sit down. Left knee comes behind right knee. Sit onto your sits bones. We're twisting towards the right. Feel free to straighten your left leg out in front of you. Belly draws in, heart lifts, collarbones widen, and shoulder blades widen. Big belly breath into your inner thigh. Exhale, twist you a little bit deeper. Unwind the rest of the unwind. Plant your hands, lift back up to standing splits. Step left foot next to right. Bend your knees, rise up chair pose. Hands reach high. Exhale, they go through your heart. Twist to your right, left elbow or left palm, hooking outside your right knee. Shift the weight back into your heels. Lift your chest and check that your knees are parallel, so one isn't going to stick out more than the other. Inhale, return back up to chair pose. Fold forward, legs straighten. Inhale, halfway. Bend your knees, keep the chest lifted, step back. Either go straight to down dog or do one of those push-ups and lower all the way down to your belly. Inhale for a baby cobra, meaning you're just using the strength of your belly, your back. And if you'd like, you can lift a little bit higher for a full cobra. No tension in the lower back. It should feel very long and puffed up in the lower back. Exhale to release down. Press back to a child's pose. Toes together, knees wide, forehead to the ground. Big breath into your lower back. Shift up, downward facing dog. Stay in this down dog for a couple breaths, feeling your legs and your arms moving apart like two sides of a tent, and your hips lifting up to be the peak. Okay. Left foot steps forward, drop your back right knee. Low lunge, you choose where you want your hands. They can always stay on the floor for support or lift up. Moving through half splits, hands come down, hip shift back. So the hips are going to stack above your back knee. You can always slide your front heel a little bit further away from you. Stay this round a bit longer. Left hand comes up to left hip, drop back. So you've got level hips to the best of your ability. And the inner thigh on that left leg is extending forward, even at the ankle. Draw your toes back towards your chest as you reach your heart forward. Good, getting all of that back of the leg lengthened. Okay, moving with breath, shift forward. Inhale, low lunge. Exhale, half splits. Inhale, low lunge. Exhale, half splits. Last time. Staying in half splits this time. Reaching the heart forward. Pressing down through your right leg strongly. Bend into your front knee, standing splits. Hands come to the ground, launch off, lift the back leg. Take a look at it. Can you flex through that lifted foot, pointing the toes and the knee downward? Can you let your head hang heavy? Bend the leg you're standing on if you need to get your hands to the ground. And then a couple times, step back, low lunge. Exhale, standing splits. Push your heel down to lift up. Inhaling. Exhaling. Good, one more. This time, bend right knee behind left knee, sit down. Spinal twist, twist towards your left. Again, you can always straighten that bottom right leg out in front of you. Feel your lower back moving forward slightly. Your chest moving back. Your exhale, twisting the mid-back. Looking for greater twist in the mid-back and upper back than in the lower back. Look forward, unwind, plant your hands, lift up, standing splits. Step right foot next to left. Bend both knees. Chair pose. Hands come through your heart. Twist to your left, hooking palm or elbow. Choose what suits your body. Hips go back, heart lifts high, full inhale. Twist a bit deeper with your exhale. Inhale, rise back up. Exhale, straight legs to fold forward. Separate your feet hip distance. Bend your knees, put your ribs on your thighs. With your peace fingers, grab onto your big toes. Inhale to lift your heart. Then exhale, fold forward. Pointing your elbows out to the sides. Letting your head hang heavy. Grounding your heels down into the floor. Inhale, release, halfway lift. Tuck your tailbone and slowly roll to standing. Hands reach high to the sky, feet will step together. Interlace fingers, release first finger and thumb. Squeeze inner thighs together. Press ankles apart without moving them. Lean towards your right, find a side bend. If you'd like, you can lift your right leg up and off the floor as well, playing with balance while you're here. Breathe into your right ribs. Your left ribs. Inhale, return back up to center and up and over the opposite direction. Option to lift the left leg up and off the ground. This time breathing into the right ribs. Inhale, back up to center. Exhale, flat back, fold forward. Inhale, halfway, chest lift, heels down. Bend your knees, plant your palms, step back, plank pose with knees lifted or dropped. Lower halfway down, chest reaching forward. Inhale up for Cobra or upward facing dog. In up dog, nothing touches the mat except the tops of your feet and your palm. Your legs are hovering. Exhale, downward dog. Lift your right leg up to the sky. Bend your right knee. Stack right hip on top of left. If it feels good, take some circles with the left leg. If you'd like to flip over into a wild thing, this would be an okay time to do that. Lifting your hips, reaching chest and knees in opposite directions. If you flipped, unwinding. Step forward with your right foot. Lift your chest, rise to fingertips. Squeeze your inner thighs together. Fire up your legs and rise up to high lunge. You could always choose to make this a low lunge or choose to keep your hands on the ground. Confident gaze, steady breath. Yep, we're still here, just holding and breathing. Bring your hands to your front thigh to step your back foot flat. Toes will be turned forward just slightly. Back heel pushes into the ground. Front knee is going to stay bent. At your lower back, interlace your hands. Stretch your chest up. And exhale, fold forward inside your right leg. You can rest your right shoulder on your right knee or drop it inside the thigh. Press the outer edge of your back foot down. Release your hands to the floor, frame your front foot. Plant your left hand down. Step your right foot back to side plank. Right hand's going to go high to the sky. You can totally drop your left knee down to the ground. That's a wonderful option. You can also have your legs stacked. Good. Lift the ribs just below the armpit up. Kick the feet down into the ground. Unwind, plant your hands. Step your right foot between your thumbs again. Back heel spins down, warrior two. Windmill up and open. And then settle your breath. Settle your body. Direct your focus and your attention. Reach both hands high to the sky. Keep your front knee bent. Bend your right arm to touch your right shoulder. With your left hand, grab your right elbow, giving yourself a little bit of a tricep stretch. Watch the front knee doesn't start to fall in as you do this. You could also interlace your hands at your upper back as an alternative. Chest is lifted. Tailbone is heavy as the roof of the mouth lifts. Release your hands. Straighten your front leg. We'll go to triangle. Back leg moves a little bit closer. Hips shift back. Drop your hand wherever feels good. Doesn't matter how low you get. Really push your back foot into the ground and lengthen the right side of your torso. If you'd like, drape your left hand behind your lower back, inviting a little bit of a twist and bind into that arm. Release the left hand to the sky, reach up, stand up. And grab your hips, step forward to the front of your mat. Mountain pose. Find equal weight in your feet, left to right and front to back. Hands go high to the sky. Breathe in. The breath starts, the body follows. Breathe out, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, bend your knees, plant your hands. You can go straight to down dog or move through a baby cobra or an upward facing dog. The left leg will lift to the sky. Once you arrive in that down dog, bend at the left knee. Take some circles. And if you took a wild thing on the first side, go ahead and take it again on this side. Unwinding. Step your left foot between your thumbs and rise onto fingertips. Heart reaching forward. Front knee is stacked above your ankle. Back heel kicks away, lengthening the back of your back knee. As you're ready, rise up to a high lunge. Hands can be on hips or reach towards the sky. Find somewhere where you can soften, perhaps toes or forehead or jaw. We don't want to grip our toes. That tends to lift the arch of our foot more and unflattens our foot. We always want to have a nice flat foot on the ground without collapsed arches. So keep your toes soft. They're just there to balance, kind of like your fingers. You don't ever need to grip. Okay, hands are going to come to your front thigh. Step your back foot slightly closer. Turn the back toes inward. Lift the torso and interlace the hands behind you the awkward way. Inhale, lift the chest. Exhale to fold. Hips will move to the right slightly. Big breaths into your armpits and into your chest. Release your hands down to the ground. Right hand stays planted. Left leg's going to step back, side plank. Now the right knee can drop down right away. The left arm is going to reach up. Feel free to stack the legs, coming into a full side plank, or keep that bottom knee drop the whole time. Belly and chest are facing forward rather than up to the sky. Release the left hand down. Step the left foot forward again. This time warrior two, back heel spins down. Windmill the arms up and open. And settle. If it feels like your front knee keeps wanting to fall inward, just lift up that front heel a little bit. And feel how that allows you to open your front knee slightly. You can keep that front heel lifted, or you can drop it down. Left arm's going to reach high to the sky. Drape it across to your upper back. Right hand comes to left elbow. You can stay like this, or instead clasp hands together behind your back. Feel your tailbone reaching down towards the floor. Feel your pubic bone and your two sits bones, all three moving in towards one another. That lift inward and upward of the lower pelvic floor. Release your arms, straighten your front leg, step your back foot slightly closer. Hips are going to slide back, and left hand drops down, right hand's going to reach up this time. Feel your body activating forward and back, up and down. Push the ball of your front foot into the floor. Rise back up, hands to hips. Take a big step forward to the front of your mat. Mountain pose. Feet together or hip distance. Feel how the heels are nestled down under the sits bones. All the bones kind of stacking to support you. And visualize your muscles just hanging on those bones like you would put a shirt on a clothes hanger and hang it in your closet. You got bones and muscles in your face too, so see if you can visualize that same kind of hanging action. Everything soft. Then inhale, reach the hands high to the sky, big breath in. Exhale, draw them to your heart. Okay, we're gonna find one standing balance up here. I'm gonna take dancer's pose today. Bring your left foot down to the ground. Bring your left hand to your left hip. Bring your right hand in front of you like a serving platter. Squeeze your inner thighs together. Bend your right knee and reach your right hand back to the big toe side of your back foot. So your palm will be facing outward. The thumb is lifted upward, kind of like you're giving a thumbs up, and you're holding the arch of your foot. Then lift up through the front of your abdomen as you push down through the standing heel. This is the pose. You could stay right here. If you'd like to add on, you can reach your left arm up and start to hinge at the abdomen, like the center of your abdomen is where you're hinging from. Starting to kick the right leg back behind you, lifting through the chest, reaching the heart forward, breathing. If you feel any complaining, tension, tightness in your lower back, you've gone too far. Slowly with control, return back to mountain pose. Right, let's do the other side. Go ahead and bring your right foot down to the ground. Bring the right hand to the right hip. Left hand forward. Reach it back. Thumbs up, palm facing outward. Inner thighs squeeze together. So notice right now how the left hip is facing forward just as much as your right hip. You want to try to maintain that even as you add in the forward reach if you're going there today. So again, this is the pose. Feel free to stay, or right arm reaches up, right heel presses down. Begin to hinge somewhere between, I was going to use some interesting anatomy terms, just hinge somewhere under your belly button. Stretching back knee back, chest forward, belly and ribs stay slightly engaged to protect the lower back here. We'll slowly return back to center, mountain pose. Step your feet hip distance apart, bend your knees, and sink low into a yogi squat. Take your feet wide enough here that you can have your heels on the ground. So that might mean you are here, more in like a goddess pose-esque, and that is totally okay. Heels are going to push down towards the floor, chest is going to lift. See if you can use your hands or your knees to help push your inner thighs outward. Your shoulders will drop down your back. Imagine you are tucking an imaginary tail between your legs. And drop your left hand down and reach your right hand towards the sky. A little bit of a twist. Knees both still pressing outward. Release back to center. Right hand will come down. Left hand will reach up. You can turn your gaze wherever is comfortable for your neck. Release the left hand down. Fold forward, legs pressing towards straight. Keep your feet kind of wide and then walk them a little bit wider even. Coming into a wide-legged forward fold. If you need to turn sideways, that's okay. Let your head hang heavy. You can have your hands underneath your shoulders. Heels press down. Back of the legs are long. Shoulders draw away from ears. Inhale, lift your torso, hands under shoulders. Walk your hands to the front of your mat. And we'll step back to tabletop pose. If you have water nearby, this would be a great time to grab a sip. It is dry here in the Tucson desert. And wherever you are, I encourage you to drink some water. So coming into that tabletop position, hands and knees, we're coming into puppy pose. Walk your hands forward, lower your chest towards the ground, and either your chin or your forehead. Now take your arms a little bit wider so you're not reaching straight ahead. They're slightly out to the diagonal. This is going to get a little bit more into your chest. We'll take 5 big breaths. 4, 3, 2, last one. Slide forward onto your belly and your forearms. Stretch your legs back behind you. Walk your elbows underneath your shoulders and stretch your chest forward past your fingers. Press your pubic bone down into the floor. Feel your belly and your ribs lift away from the ground. You can stay right here, really actively pushing the pubic bone down, or add on if you'd like by bending both knees and just pointing them to the sky. Now, as soon as you do that, notice if your back wants to start twerking or arching a little bit, and see if you can instead keep the pubic bone pushing down, the belly lifted, the ribs engaged up, and bend the knees without losing all that. Now you should feel your hamstrings working a bit more to lift your legs. The chest is still reaching forward, the pubic bone still reaching down. And without moving your legs, try to stretch your knees and your chest forward and back, really lengthening. Lengthen out the back of your neck, heels drawing closer towards you. Good. Feel your shoulder blades widen side to side, pushing your palms down. And go ahead and release the legs. Lower your torso and bring your forehead to the backs of your hands. Bring your left leg out to the side like a frog leg. Rise up back to your forearms. This is a great place to stay. Just looking forward, left leg in frog. If you feel like you need to add more, you could even go into a bit more of a cobra. Pubic bone stays pressing down, heart stays lifting. Think of that left hip dropping down towards the floor. We're going to take our right arm and thread it underneath our left shoulder. Lie down onto your right shoulder blade and your right ear. And reach your left arm up and back behind you. You're going to keep the left knee on the ground. Extend long through the right leg. Now the shoulder joint is pretty vulnerable. So if this feels uncomfortable, just having your left arm up in the air, go ahead and bend it and drape it across your side or at your hip. If you're keeping it sustained in the air, I want you to make a fist with your left arm and squeeze the muscles around your shoulder blade. So that's protecting the joint. It's going to feel like a little bit of work, but that's going to be much safer. If your left arm is completely on the floor behind you, it's got support, then don't worry about it. Take a few breaths. The lower back isn't designed to twist. The lower vertebrae aren't really great for twisting. So try to feel this mainly in your mid back and upper back. Go ahead and roll back onto your belly. Extend your left leg back behind you. Come back up into Sphinx. Then bend your right leg out to the side like that frog leg. And stay in Sphinx for a couple moments. If this is intense on your lower back, please walk your elbows further away from you. Hello, Zinky. Okay, feel free to stay there or add in the twist now, threading the left arm underneath your right shoulder. Roll onto your left shoulder blade. Now it's the right arm that opens up and over. Make the fist with the right arm if you're keeping it suspended. Each inhale, create space in your body. Like you could breathe in with your skin, your hair, your nails. Everything you're breathing in is expanding and stretching and opening. And as you exhale, you're condensing into that space and stretching longer. Roll back to your belly. Push back to child's pose. Bringing knees wide, bringing big toes together. Let your hands stretch out. If you'd like, you could even wrap your arms along your sides. And bring your palms face up for that variation. Bring your hands back under your shoulders. Rise up to a kneeling position. Have a seat, or I'm sorry, don't have a seat yet. Come into your tabletop. Now you're going to take your right knee in front of your left knee. So you could think inner thighs are squeezing together and you've got the left knee tucked in to the back of that right knee. Kick your right foot off to the side slightly and walk your hands back to sit onto your left foot. So the left foot is going to be kind of right in your crotch. And you could stay right here. Should feel a sensation in your outer right thigh, your right hip. If you don't feel much, you can add more by shifting forward, kicking your left foot to the left, and sitting your sits bones down between both feet kicking off to the sides. Now, you never want to feel pinching or pain, especially not in the front or in the joint itself. You want to feel this in the outer hips. This is a great stretch for our glute medius muscle. Pigeon doesn't really get that muscle very much, nor does fire logs. And this one does. So you could stay here, or if you'd like, you could also walk your hands forward and begin to drop shoulders, maybe even bow head. No matter how much you're rounding, keep a slight lift in the heart, almost like a little baby cobra, just in the upper chest. Sits bones stay grounded down. If you feel any discomfort in your knees, just go ahead and exit out of this and rest for a few moments. Inhale, slowly rise back up. Shift back into tabletop position, hands and knees. We go out, take a few cats and cows. I got cats around here, but no cows. Okay, left knee crosses over right knee. Walk back, sit onto your right foot this time. Stay or kick right foot towards the left. Sitting down. And you can stay here or you can add in a forward fold. You don't need to go for high intensity. So if you're feeling, anywhere between like a 3 to a 6 in sensation on a scale of 1 to 10, stay there. There is no need to get to a 10. What you're really ideally looking for is like a 3 to a 5. Soften your jaw. Soften your forehead. Lift your chest, look forward, and slowly rise all the way up. Come back to tabletop. Uncross your legs. Sit down onto your sits bones and extend your legs out wide. How wide you go will depend on your body. Start by bringing your hands behind you, fingertips down. Push your lower back forward, ground your sits bones into the floor, lift your chest, point or flex your feet, either one you choose, make your legs active. You can stay like that or bring your hands in front of you, walk to palms, walk to forearms, forward fold as much as your body would like. Actively push your legs down into the ground. Imagine like someone's grabbing your hips and drawing them backwards as you reach your chest forward. Push your thighs down into the floor and stretch your legs out like someone's pulling your ankles away. Find some external rotation in your legs as well, so really turning the knees up towards the sky and doing that turn from the hip joint. Take one more breath here. And slowly rise back up. Reach both hands towards the sky. We'll bring right arm down and side bend up and over towards your left. That right arm can push against your inner thigh or rest on top. Inhale, return back up. We'll take the other side. Inhale for the arms to lift. Exhale, up and over to the left. Push your hips down to lift back up. We'll come back into our last downward dog. If you'd like to pedal your feet, you can, or just enjoy stillness for a couple moments. Walk your feet forward. Have a seat onto your sits bones. Extend your legs in front of you. Reach your arms in front of you. Fold forward slightly. And then tailbone tucks under, belly hollows. You're going to roll back, starting from your sacrum, all the way onto your back. Try to kick your legs away from you as you will roll down. And try to really slow the roll down so that each vertebrae goes to the ground one at a time. This is a great time to take your favorite inversion. I'm going to take a shoulder stand, and that's what I'll talk you through. But if you would like a headstand or a forearm stand or a handstand or legs up the wall, by all means, take any of those. So here's some progressions for your shoulder stand if you're taking that with me today. First, draw your knees into your chest, grab ankles or feet, and open up for a happy baby, bringing your feet towards the sky. And this is option one. You've got your legs above your heart. Option two, bring your legs together, straighten them up towards the sky, and you're going to rest there. And this is another way to help get the blood flow back down towards the heart. Option three, I'm going to kick your feet kind of over the crown of your head, bringing your hands to your lower back, walking elbows towards one another, and then let the hips fall down into the palms. The toes will reach kind of behind the head. And the weight's going to be mainly in your elbows, a little bit in your back and shoulders. So you're really supporting the hips with your hands. And then option 3, you're going to go up to a shoulder stand. Again, elbows are going to come inward. You're going to have the weight on the elbows or the shoulders. That's why it's called shoulder stand and not neck stand. And like someone is lifting your ankles to the sky, lifting your hips towards the ceiling. Broaden your chest. Make sure there's some space between the back of your neck and the mat. Should be a couple fingers able to slide under there. If you'd like to move your legs around, you're welcome to. Just make sure that weight stays in the elbows and the shoulders, and the neck is feeling no tension whatsoever. Eventually, you'll roll back down onto your back. When you get there, let your feet come to the ground and your knees to fall into one another. If you took shoulder stand, please join me for this next and final pose. Walk your ankles and your knees to touch. Lift your feet so your knees are as high as your hips or above your hips and your feet are as high as your knees. Hands reach to the sky, palms face one another. Breathe in through your nose. Exhale, bow up the chest. Hollow the belly. Squeeze the inner thighs together and really sink the strong muscles of your abdomen. Push them back into the muscles of your back. Shoulders wide. And lower down. Take any last postures you need to feel complete in your practice today. This is also your time for Shavasana. Give your body a gentle shake so you can wiggle yourself right into stillness. I encourage you to rest for 3.5 at least minutes, maybe even 5, 10, 15 today. I'm going to sign off now so you can rest as long as you'd like without interruption. Thank you so much for joining me today. I'll be teaching Yin tonight at 8 p.m. if that's Tucson time, if you'd like to join. Leave a comment if you took the class. Have a wonderful rest of your evening.